Because the Election Commission had cited concerns about electoral bonds, the RBI had cited concerns about electoral bonds, but the government went ahead with it anyway. It got passed in Parliament, and I believe a lot of opposition parties at that time had also supported it. But the bigger question is this: now what happens? Because there is no electoral bond scheme. The government says, and you heard Ravi Shankar Prasad's soundbite a moment ago, that they had brought this to curb illegal funding and black money in politics. They believe that the intent of this was right. Maybe the instrument was wrong. But what happens now, Major General? How can corporate interests or individual interests who want to contribute to political parties, how do they go about it now?
So, Zaka, thank you for having me. Firstly, it doesn't change anything. The previous system continues. All donations above 20,000 rupees, complete details are supposed to be made public. That will continue. The above 20, below 20,000 donations will continue. The only thing which is not going to be there is the system of electoral bonds. So that is one. Secondly, the money which the parties have already collected through the electoral bonds, the Supreme Court has not asked it to be refunded. They already have it, they have spent it. And by the way, in January sale itself, 2,800 crores worth electoral bonds have been sold already. So they have enough money in their kitties for the elections. So they're not worried, really speaking.
Okay.
But I want to, those 3-4 points which you gave as if justifying the government's stand. I want to ask you, what about the FCRA? It was amended with retrospective effect just because BJP and Congress were found guilty of accepting foreign funding.
Of course.
So, I mean, what is the big deal? The people have a right to know who's giving the money to which party and how much. So that was the basic thing, Article 19A1, which thankfully the Supreme Court has upheld.
No, I am with you on that. The reason why some people have expressed concerns about the retrospective nature is, for example, if you remember this, the famous Vodafone retrospective tax case. If you start applying laws retrospectively, the argument is, and there is a case to be made for this, that it is a slippery slope. You will start opening up a Pandora's box. But in this case, I agree with you, because you can't have prospective naming, because there is no prospective naming. The whole scheme has been rendered unconstitutional.
Okay, now coming to your what is likely to happen. Now, some people are already saying that the government may think of bringing an ordinance against this and all that. I am not a legal expert, but I think all the amendments which were done to the Income Tax Act, to the Companies Act, to the RBI Act, to the RPA have been struck down as unconstitutional by this constitution bench. So it is not going to be easy for the government to bring in an ordinance. That is one. The second thing is that there were enough, and I have heard all the arguments in November when the case was being discussed in the Supreme Court. The Solicitor General was giving the same arguments that this is transparent and this is going to reduce the black money and cash donations and all that. There was not enough proof as per statistics given to the court by these government councils that this was true. The people say, what is happening now? Don't you see mountains of cash being discovered from political people in their houses? Counting machines are still there. What happened to the demonetization? Did the black money reduce? I mean, these are questions, the other thing I want to say is, this is not about BJP getting more or Congress getting more. Initially, when the scheme was introduced, agreed, the BJP got the maximum. But slowly, all the political parties which are in power, whether they are in the states or the center, started receiving funds through electoral bonds.
Yeah.
Because it was a win-win situation for the donor and the donee.
Exactly.
Both are happy.
So let me bring in the political spokespersons. What Anil Verma is saying is absolutely right, Dr. Shama Mohamed. Let me start with you first. This is data until October of 2023. The total amount of purchases through electoral bonds and donations through electoral bonds was a little under 10,000 crores, of which over 5,000 crores went to the BJP. 57% of donations was through electoral bonds. For the Congress party, it was 952 crores, 10% was through electoral bonds. TMC was third with 767 crores. Again, 8% was through electoral bonds. So to say that only the BJP was beneficiary of electoral bonds is factually incorrect. The Congress party has also benefited from electoral bonds.
I don't agree with you.
Maybe in a lesser proportion, for sure.
What are you saying, Zaka? For once, you must support today's judgment.
No.
And the
I am supportive of the judgment. Which part of my question is unsupportive of the judgment?
It's a 5-judge bench unanimous decision saying that electoral bonds are unconstitutional.
Where did I say that I disagree with the judgment? Why are you putting words in my mouth?
Don't point fingers today at the Congress party, because my leader, Rahul Gandhi ji, is being vindicated. He said it is money laundering from the beginning. Now, you have to understand, 96% went to the Bharatiya Janata Party. All right. When the Supreme Court itself said that there should be a level playing field. Now, we went against it. We put cases in court, but Supreme Court took a long time for this judgment. Should have done much before. That is one. Thanks to it, it came out at least now. Now, let's understand. Let's go back to 2017. In 2017, when the finance minister at that time, Arun Jaitley, got in, when he went to the RBI, you said the RBI objected. They were against it, not objected. They were against it. They said this cannot be because this is money laundering. But you know what Jaitley's secretary, that time finance secretary, said? They said, we can't do it. He said, no. Tomorrow the bill is going to go in Parliament. We don't care what you say. We're going to go ahead. You need to amend the RBI Act. Now, what did they amend in the RBI Act? Before the RBI Act was amended, every corporate company has a balance sheet every year. They have to write in it the amount given to which party, what is the amount. All right. Number two, the amount that is given is around 7% of their 3 years revenue, an average of that. There is a fixed amount. You can't go. Now, what has happened in this case is that you can give, and also no foreign companies can give funds here. Now, when they amended the RBI Act, what they did is the amount has become unlimited. Who is giving which company is anonymous, and third, foreign companies can pay money. That is shell companies. Now, look at the quid pro quo here. For example, there is a company, you're going to do work. A company needs work from the government. So they do the work and the company donates. And you should understand that bonds are in crores going, not in lakhs. It's crore. Now they donate to the company. Number two, suppose a company like Adani has a shell company outside. They earn money, send it to the shell company. The shell company sends it back here. So look what they did. This is what you call ghotala. This is a huge corruption here happening. And let's understand that. So let me just finish. So just see how they've amended. Then let's understand very important thing. Who sells the bonds? The SBI. SBI knows, RBI knows, the government of India knows. And you know what has happened? Many a times, businessmen have told me that, Shama, when we put money into your account, we get calls into the Congress account, not mine. We get calls and say, listen, stop it. We're sending the ED and the IT. So that is the other issue here.